Good morning, students. Myself, Dr.N.Shirisha, Associate Professor, CSC Department. In this session, we are going to discuss about Introduction to CSS. So far we have discussed HTML and what are HTML elements, different attributes, how to create a table, how to create frames, forms. So, all about HTML we have seen. So, for the designing part, we use the HTML for web pages, for designing the web pages. So, what is CSS? CSS is nothing but cascading style sheets. So, if you see, generally you have, you will use a HTML just to give the structure like this. Okay, but there is no color or there is no styling for this. So CSS is used to just make it very colorful. Okay, what are the HTML page that you are developing, to make it colorful or to apply different formatting, we use CSS. CSS is a cascading style sheet. So CSS saves a lot of work and control the layout of multiple web pages all at once. Means whatever the web page you are going to design. So for all the web pages, you can give the styling. It can control the layout. Okay. So this is a general normal content. Okay. So but for this content, whether it should be bold or italic or given the indentation, so here you have margins and here you don't have this, right? So like that, to give both marginal things is also a part of styling. Okay. So presentation of displaying the text needs some sort of formatting, and that formatting can be done using a CSS document. So, it is used to describe the presentation of the documents. So, how the presentation should be, whether it has to be in a red color, you should have background color, or you should give a formatting text like Times New Roman, Calibri, okay, Arial, like that. Those are fonts styling. Okay, so define the sizes of styling. Say you have different size of fonts, then spacing and colors, font colors can be given, and layout color. A complete web page is one layout. So for that, what is, I want the complete background black, then I should give a layout with the background color. So whatever the web page you are designing, for that the accessibility of your content can be improved by using the CSS, and it also improves the flexibility of using your content. CSS can be applied to any XML document also, not only HTML. So XML is nothing but extensible markup language. So this is used to for storing your data for the web pages, which is also a markup language after your HTML. HTML is used for presentation or designing of your web page, whereas XML is used for storing the data. Okay, so CSS can specify different styles for different media. So on screen, in print, handheld, projection. Okay, so wherever you need, so you can apply the CSS over them. Cascading style sheet is used to define the styles of your web pages, including the design, layout, and variations in display for different sizes and different devices. Okay. So if you see here, we have a document container with font family you have to give, like Times New Roman, Calibri and all. Font size, normally we use a Times New Roman for documentation purpose, and the size should be 12 for the general text. For headings, we will give 16, and for subheadings, we will follow 14. So that sort of documentation or font sizing, if you wanted to apply, then we will go for font size. Then background color can also be applied. So paragraph for paragraph you also can apply, or you also include the attributes. So those attributes are like for text indentation, etc. And for H1, H2 you can also apply font size. Okay, background color. So font family, font size for the paragraph. Similarly for H1 also. So H1 is used for heading, as you all know. So where you can apply the font size for this H1, say H1, and you can if you wanted to change the font size, then you can give font size as 18, something like this. Okay, this is also a part of styling. Then background color can also be applied, and background font size can also be given. This is a normal tags that we are going to use in the HTML and their styling. So what is the syntax for writing a CSS code? Okay, so CSS is having a selector. Selector is nothing but the tag that you wanted to apply your styling, and declaration will be given color, and this is the attribute. So what type of attribute? Color attribute, and colon value. Value will be given towards right of your attribute name. So color is a property or attribute, value is the value that you are giving. So this is nothing but the declaration. If you wanted to give multiple declarations, this is first declaration, this is second declaration, this is okay, two declarations you have given. Whatever the declarations you wanted to give, we are giving in the angular brackets. So if you wanted to give for paragraph, so paragraph and like this is a selector, and in between the flower brackets, what you are going to give? You are going to give the attributes for that particular tag, followed colon value with the semicolon, ending with semicolon. So like that you can give multiple values or multiple attributes. So this is nothing but selector point to the HTML element. Element here is a H1 is a element. Okay, declaration block contains one or more declarations which are given in between the angular brackets. They are separated with a semicolon. So this is the semicolon. Okay, for every property and the value you are ending that with the semicolon. Each declaration includes CSS property name and a value separated by a colon. So property name is nothing but the color, property value is nothing but the blue, property name is nothing but font size, property value is nothing but a 12 pixels. Px is nothing but the pixels we are giving it for the font size. The same color and font size you can also use for paragraph tag also. Okay, multiple CSS declarations are separated with a semicolon, and declaration blocks are surrounded by the curly braces. Okay, CSS selectors. So selectors is nothing but it can be a tag, element name, there's a like a p tag for example. Class selector, you can define a specific class where this class will have a set of tags, a complete block of code we are applying that styling. So then we can put it in the one class. And ID selector, specific, if you are using paragraph tag, multiple paragraphs in one web design or web page, then what you will do, you will give ID for each and every paragraph, so that according to the ID, if you wanted to, say I have p tag, and for this I wanted to give font color, okay, font color yellow. Okay, then for this I have to give ID. Okay, so here p tag with the ID I should give. So ID is equal to, say, paragraph 1. This paragraph 1 is applied this CSS. Similarly, if I have one more paragraph, then for that paragraph I am giving ID as P2. Okay, for this I wanted to give the font color as red. So what is happening? Whenever you have multiple values, multiple same elements you are using in the same web page, then they can be differentiated. Those stylings that you wanted to apply for those elements can be differentiated using the ID. So the ID of the second paragraph is P2, the ID of the first paragraph is P1. So universal selector star. Suppose if you have paragraphs, multiple paragraphs, if you are giving star, then all paragraphs will be applied with the same styling. Okay, so in this way the selectors can be given for each element, or for class, or for ID using the ID, or star. Multiple tags that are in each class can be assigned a styling. Okay, so what are we'll see with some example. So here we have a selector, say ID. Ash ID is the example that we are giving. So here ID equals to first name we have assigned. Say P, as I told you, equals to P1. So this is how we are giving the ID. Dot class, dot intro. So every class we are giving it as class equals to class name. For ID how we are giving, so like that you can also assign class equals to some C1, say class name. So how do you give that is with selector will be dot class. So element dot class, so P dot intro here. So this P is a element and this is a class. So this class is given set of styling which can be applied for the elements you wanted to apply. Star is selecting all the elements. This is a single element, P element, paragraph element, and multiple elements can be separated by comma. Div is given, which is a division of different tags into one block. So the P is a paragraph, so it selects all the division elements and also the P elements. So these are the few examples for how we are using the selector. So this is for element, this is for class, this is for ID also, this is the ID, and multiple elements, star is used. So how many types of CSS are there? In HTML, you can apply the CSS in three ways. Okay, external CSS, internal CSS, inline CSS. External CSS is where you will write a CSS file separately, and this CSS file is used in your HTML file. So this external, suppose I have f1.css. So this f1.css will be imported into your HTML to use it, and then all the styling will be applied to your web page. Internal CSS means in HTML only, here only we will give internal CSS. So it will not be imported, okay, but external will be imported. This is external CSS, this has to be imported, but your internal CSS will be written inside your HTML. Inline CSS means inside that. So P font size, or we can also do like this, P tag, then here font size colon value. So I am giving it as 12. So what is this? This is a inline, or inside the tag also you can give font size like a attribute. So this will be your inline CSS. This is inline. If you are giving internally within the HTML, that can be internal. And if you are importing the file, another CSS file from another location to your HTML file, then we call it as external CSS. So these are the three types of, three ways of how we do or how we write our CSS file and can be used into your HTML. We'll see examples of each here. So inline CSS. Inline CSS is having a syntax like this. Okay. So what is that? Just like how we have done in the HTML. Any element followed by the attribute equals to value. Suppose here we are giving a styling. So style attribute here is nothing but your inline CSS. So style attribute is given, and what is the attribute name? Color, property name, and value is blue. So this is inline. Okay. So what is my paragraph? Hello CSS is my paragraph. So in this way we can do is, just see this. So what we'll do, just I am taking a notepad. Okay. So here what I have given for H1, I have given style, which is nothing but CSS inline. Okay. There itself inside the element we will do this. So let me give this as f1.html. Even though we are applying CSS, this is not only a CSS file, so we can just save it with the HTML. Then click on save. So F1 is already there. So let me give it. Okay. Let me execute. File S1, file CSS1. So what is that? Blue colored font, blue colored heading and a red paragraph. So if you see here, what we have, styling is given as color blue, okay, and paragraph is given as color red. So this is the output we got. So see the output. So blue color heading and red color paragraph. Okay. So H1 and P tag. This is called as inline CSS. Let me show you. What are the disadvantages that you have for this inline CSS? So you cannot use the quotations, okay, within the inline CSS, and these styles cannot be reused anywhere else because we are not defining them in the separate class. So inside that element only we are defining. Whatever the styling you have given for H1, say what we have given for H1. H1 is given a color as blue. So this blue cannot be applied for your paragraph. This red cannot be applied for your heading. So that is how one attribute or one styling cannot be applied for the other one. Okay. So here let us see how we are going to use this in the internal CSS. So these styles are tough to be edited, and this is not possible to code within the inline CSS. CSS does not provide browser cache advantages. Okay, this is just a inline. So coming to internal CSS, so the syntax whatever we have seen, okay, this is also internal, can be saved with the HTML. So let me edit this with the internal. So in internal what we are giving? So background color, okay, body is the element. Inside this angular brackets, we are going to give a attribute name, that is a property name, and the value, that is the syntax we have seen, right? So body, heading 1 and paragraph, H1 and paragraph. So these three we have used, right? So let me save this and just execute it. So when you execute this file, CSS2, so what you got? You got a body. What is a body color we have given? Powder blue. So background of your page is here, blue color. And if you see here, H1 we have given blue. So this is H1. And paragraph we have given red. So it is red. So this will be how the, we are using the internal CSS with the syntax selector. So what is a selector here? So this is a selector. This is selector. Okay. And what is this? This is the property name. So property name has to be given. Okay. Property name. And this is the value. So like this you can assign different styling. So till now we have discussed inline and internal CSS, inline CSS and internal CSS. Coming to external CSS, which is created using another file. So CSS file will be saved at a separate location, and that part, that as a link or path we will give as a reference for your HTML file. So that is what external CSS. So with an external style sheet, you can change the look of the entire website by changing just one file. So one file will be changed. So this one file is nothing but your CSS file will be created externally. So how that is linked with your HTML is by giving link element. So that is inside the head section. So this is how you will give. So you have a link element with relation. What is the relation? It is a style sheet. Type is either the text or CSS file. Then this is by default you have to give type equals to text or CSS. By default that value will be assigned, and href is a reference file that you wanted to give for your HTML CSS file. So this is the CSS file that you are going to refer. So styles.css. So styles.css, this is one way using the link, or the other way is using the @import. @import is the keyword that you have to give for importing your style sheet. So we see with this with the help of one example. So here is an example where we are giving you HTML file with head part. Inside the head you are writing the link with relation, that is a style sheet, or href which is a styles.css. So your head is done. So normally you will write a body part. So this styles.css has to be created externally. So this is called a external CSS. So here what we are doing, we are giving styling for one body, for 2 H1, for 3 paragraph. So body, H1 and paragraph. So we are writing the styling for this. So for body we have given background color, for H1 we have given blue, for P we have given color as a red. So the same if we execute. So this is another way, like style tag will be given, and in the style tag you have to give again type equals to how we are giving here. Type equals to text or CSS, that is need to be given, and here @ import your URL have to be given. So if not, if you can also give without a URL method, directly you will give styles.css. Okay, this is about styling. So this if we execute, so here is a files.css file where I have given a head part with your link, that is a relation, and also the H reference. Styles.css, whatever I wanted to create, that I have to create externally. So if you see here, this is my styles.css file. Okay, so now I will save this file as styles.css only. Whatever the name you have given, with that name only you have to save it. So .css. Okay, so this is already saved. Then this normal program will be saved as HTML only. So I have given file css3.html. Okay, just click on save. Okay, now if you execute this, so file css3. Okay, so you are getting, this is a heading in blue color, this is paragraph, there is a paragraph tag where the styling is given as color red, so that is applied, and the background of your body, so this is the entire body, so this body is given as blue color. Okay, this is the styling we have applied if you see. So see this. So background color for your body is powder blue, so that is displayed. H1, heading 1 blue, so heading 1 blue is also displayed. Then paragraph red, so paragraph red is also displayed. So this is how we will give a external CSS. In this session we have discussed so far what the introduction to CSS and different types of CSS. There are 3 types: inline, internal, external. Inline within the tag we will give, internal within the HTML file only we will write styling also, external within outside the HTML part we will write the external program, and that you will import it using href or link or @ import can be used. Href is attribute you will use in the link element. Thank you all.